You know those mornings you look outside and everything is different? Nothing is like it was? Do you believe in fate? I do. At least I think I do. It's hard to believe that it's been a year since I last saw you. We miss so much trying so hard to hold on to the things that we once had. But you know, not even the stars stay in sight forever. You know those mornings you look outside and everything is different? Nothing is like it was? Do you believe in fate? I do. At least I think I do. It's hard to believe that it's been a year since I last saw you. We miss so much trying so hard to hold on to the things that we once had. But you know, not even the stars stay in sight forever.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, alongside Nacho, I'm AltCharge, and welcome to the Console Gaming League PC Masters Overwatch 2 Grand Final for Season 11. It's been a long, grueling journey, but we finally made it to the most anticipated event of the season. Today, two fierce teams, Ambatakum and Empyrean, are going to face off in a first-to-4 series to determine who's going to be crowned champion of the PC Masters Overwatch 2 CGL Final. Nacho, thoughts on this game? What are you anticipating before we jump in?
Well, it should be a really good series. Both teams have played really well leading up to the grand finals. I believe each team hasn't dropped the map based on what I've seen. In terms of overall, I've seen a lot of rush and a lot of Winston dive comps, especially with all these changes coming around. About Cassidy a little falling off, and we're seeing a lot more sniper play with Ashe and Hanzo. So I think we could see a pretty wide range depending on each team's primary play style. So it should be overall, I'm hoping, a really good series, really competitive.
Yeah, these teams played once in the season, all the way back in week 1, Rammer was saying, and he said that Empyrean won that matchup, but Ambatakum is definitely the favorite to win this finals here. They swept their way through the upper bracket, even beating alternate F4, who has since dropped out to focus on open division, but Empyrean still a very formidable opponent to enter into this grand final. And yeah, you mentioned a lot of the changes that came through. Cassidy losing 25 HP, his nade no longer combos for an easy one-shot, so we have seen Ashe and Hanzo kind of rise back up in playtime. And then Winston dive with Tracer and Sombra, one of the more stable comps right now. We're seeing a lot of pros play it, and in a PC Masters lobby with a little bit more high skill, I am expecting to see that Winston dive some sort of, maybe it's the Tracer Sombra, maybe it's a Tracer Ashe, but I know that these DPS players can all play Tracer, at least the flex ones can, so I'm expecting to see a lot of the Overwatch 1 cover girl. And we actually know the first map we're going to play, it's going to be Lijiang Tower, a classic, a really good field mount map. All 3 points play a little bit different from each other, so you get to focus on your opponent's strengths and weaknesses as well as your own in that matchup.
Absolutely, and they all really garner to various different play styles as well. Like dive is a big one, especially, and I'm really excited to see what comes out. Maybe I'm hoping personally for some off-meta tanks, especially on night market.
Yeah, I mean, it could definitely happen. These are going to be the players who might be playing meta, might be playing off meta. This is the Ambatakum roster. Fart Keisha, that's going to be fun to say for a couple hours. Going to be holding down the front line on tank. And then Motto, who is just a CGL legend, it feels like. I was playing back in like Season 6, and Motto's been around long before then. Cookies is going to be the damage duo alongside Mata, and then Sock and Natalie. They're going to be in the back line trying to support this Ambatakum team through their efforts.
Yeah, and on the side for Team Empyrean, we have Love Syrup holding it up on tank with Jailbreak and Armagod on the DPS side of things, with Goku and Zamnade on the support line.
Yep, these are going to be the rosters. And let's go ahead and take a look at how they got here. This is what the bracket looks like. We did mention that Alt F4, they did drop out after being sent to the losers bracket, so that Team Empyrean sweep against Alt F4 didn't actually happen. It was a forfeit on Alt F4's part, but you can see how Empyrean got here. They did actually lose to Alt F4 in round 2 of this bracket. And then Ambatakum, I mean, they have swept their way through, even sweeping Alt F4 in the winners bracket final not that long ago. So Ambatakum is ready. They have transformed since week 1 when Team Empyrean beat them, and they're hungry. This is kind of a grudge match with a lot higher stakes, Nacho.
Absolutely. Ambatakum definitely has a message to send to Team Empyrean, and I believe we're ready to start. Let's head over to our first map at Lijiang Tower.
Lijiang Tower opening things up here on Night Market, it looks like, getting a nice look of these advertisements here. Maybe hopping for some boba tea, maybe some ramen. Who knows? Night Market has a lot to offer. I know usually it offers a Symmetra to get to point first, and teams like to play rush, but this is one of those points in Overwatch where it's kind of one of those identity objectives where you can see how your opponent is going to want to play. Do they attack this with a Rein Mei rush like we're seeing Ambatakum put on, at least in the locker room, or do they go a different route like we can see two totally different team comps on both sides?
Yeah, definitely going to be, looks like Empyrean's going to be opting for that SIM TP to get everyone out there faster, along with that Lucio speed boost. I'm guessing that it's going to be swapping to a Mei to accommodate the rush with the Ramatra. Oh no, but just TPing up to the point.
Already Empyrean seems like they've got the foot on the objective first, and Natalie actually drops there. Oh my god, beams them down. And this one could go the way of Empyrean awfully quickly, at least for the first fight. Immortality Field had to be thrown out from Goku to save Syrup's life, but Syrup now backpedaling to the point to stabilize as it's about to unlock. And Empyrean may be taking it first, but not before a little contest here by Farkeisha coming in. Mata hitting the icicle headshot onto Goku as well. Syrup trying to rally and pump some damage through the right side, but it is met by force by Ambatakum coming through with a level 3 beam, and it's Cookies stealing the show, and Ambatakum take the objective first.
Yeah, really great first fight from Ambatakum. Really, honestly, I saw that Immortality Field by Sock really good. Really kept them able to maintain that pressure, not having to back off with some heals pumping in.
Coming up into this next one, as sorry to cut you off. Did you have something else you wanted to say?
Nope, you're good to go.
Alrighty. Well, right now, again, Ambatakum just rolling through this one easily. This is kind of a breeze of a fight for them, and they've got a lot of ults online. All that one took was Sock's Ant Matrix. That boosted up all the damage they needed to wipe Empyrean off the face of the map.
Yeah, and that's really good. Just only investing one ult to maintain the point control, because now you're probably going to be getting closer towards that 60%. I'm surprised that Team Empyrean is sticking with the Sim. Personally, I would have liked to seen the swap a little earlier, but I'm guessing they're just going to stick it out for this Sim wall coming in soon.
Here you can see Empyrean trying to speed boost that Annihilation straight into Ambatakum, but once again, met with a ton of force. Mata threw down the Blizzard right in the initial choke, and then their tank was just ready with the Earth Shatter, laying down the slam, and Empyrean, they're struggling to get anything going here. You can see they're changing up their comp to a Wrecking Ball Tracer Pharah. A little bit of a different look. Might be too late in the round, though, to make much of a difference.
Yeah, like I said, it would have been. I would have liked to see these swaps a little earlier. Usually, when a sim holds this type of point, it's kind of hard to break with your sim of your own. So maybe this is an adjustment they could take on to the next map, but it's going to be a tough battle, especially with the sim wall in here.
92% in climbing, as the backline and Jailbreak are already dropped, and Ambatakum should have easy sailing the rest of this round to take point number 1 of Lijiang Tower in 100-0 fashion. Empyrean knows that Ambatakum wants to play in this close quarters brawl kind of composition. How do you think they can answer that going into the next point, be it Control Center or maybe Gardens?
Well, they're going to have to definitely play it back a bit, you know? Like, they're clearly not winning the close quarters matchup. So I would definitely want to see maybe play it back a bit. You know, distance is your friend in a poke comp. I do see the Pharah in there, which is a great choice, especially with kind of a poke. Hit him from way up in the sky with the tracer. Being a little bit of an annoyance, and obviously with the Lucio ball, it's gonna be a lot of disruption, a lot of movement. Hopefully, you see some good boops on this bridge.
Opening it up, you can see Jailbreak definitely going for those boops, still holding on to that concussion blast, maybe for an opportune moment to go extra aggressive and strike in tight. You can see Empyrean just kind of poking and prodding around the outskirts of this objective, and Ambatakum has actually switched on to that Sombra Tracer dive we were talking about earlier, so they are ready to engage hard and fast. Jailbreak already diced up, the backline gone as well for Empyrean, and now just kind of scrambling to this objective as fast as they can, but they can't get another touch in, and once again, Ambatakum take the objective first.
Yeah, really good hack by Cookies on the Pharah. Kind of shut it down quickly. Really good heads-up play to play the Pharah there, especially seeing how Empyrean led that last map at the end of it. Really hard counters a lot of what they brought, and it's gonna be a pain to deal with.
Both Lucios are traded out here to start this one, but Motto wins a nice little duel on the outskirts against Jailbreak, and now Empyrean, they've got to try to traverse this bridge safely, and that's one of the harder things to do on Lijiang Tower. These bridges are awfully dangerous to try and get across. That's why we see teams play more mobility on Gardens in particular. Now coming up, EMP comes in. The sticky is there. Love Syrup goes down to the pulse bomb from Mata, and once again, Ambatakum rolls strong into this fight, taking it before Empyrean can even touch the objective. I love how they're engaging off the objective early, catching Empyrean off guard fight after fight.
Exactly, and that EMP, though only got the Winston, was a really high-value target. Winston's going to be a livelier bulk coming into that bridge, especially with Primal Rage, which for Love Syrup is a little behind for Quisha, but it's getting there. So shutting down your tank early would really get the collapse coming in.
Kitsune Rush from Sock to lead off this fight. Empyrean struggling to get ults online. They have none. They've already lost their backline once again. It seems like that is just the priority focus here for Ambatakum every time. It seems like they find both Empyrean supports very fast. Syrup doing everything in their power to keep this one alive. Finds 3 with the Primal Rage. Throwing hands rated E for everyone, but is it enough for Empyrean to get the flip here? 90% in climbing. We're entering final fight. Syrup is taken down 4, and he's hungry for more. Oh, drops there to Mata as Ambatakum roll back into this point. 99% now. The overtime wick starting to burn. There's an EMP late in the round, but Jailbreak can't live through it. There's not enough follow-up, and the sound barrier from Natalie is going to be the icing on the cake. Ambatakum taking Lijiang Tower 2-0.
Wow, what a great job by Ambatakum.
I like how play of the game was from Syrup. I mean, it's a little consolation prize for Empyrean. That Primal Rage right at the end. He was bouncing all around the map, knocking people into the koi fish pond, making sure that everyone was pretty much fish food, but still not enough for even the flip for Empyrean. And we're going to be headed into our hybrid map as we wait for Nacho to get his cam back. But right now in Ambatakum, I mean, they showed up. They were the favorite showing up, and that was a statement map number 1 on Lijiang Tower.
Yeah, sorry, I got a little technical difficulties over here, but we're getting it back online soon. Really good plays by Ambatakum, you know. The DPS line was doing all the work, and everyone else, the rest of the team, just kind of just reaped the benefits. They had no real answers for the Sombra or the Tracer or the Reaper. I think they had a Reaper at one point as well. Really good job by them to lock down those points and really prevent Team Empyrean to get any progress at all.
Yeah, it seemed like they just had everything working. On point 1 on Night Market, they were playing that Ryan and May just brawl comp, close quarters like you were talking about, just a ton of burst damage right in your face. And then we saw this team's flexibility where they jump onto that Winston Sombra Tracer dive comp, and they're just executing in the open space. They're not letting Empyrean get to the objective. They're fighting them, engaging them all the time where they want to. And right now, we're just playing Ambatakum's game, and Empyrean is trying to play catch-up. and that's not going to work going forward in a grand final. You've got to find a way to play to your strengths, play your own game, design engagements around the way your team wants to fight, or it's going to be an uphill battle the entire time. And right now, that's what we have heavily favoring Ambatakum.
Absolutely. And it just seems like Ambatakum had their number, that whole second point especially, because they already were ready with that Sombra Tracer to shut down a pokey ball with the Pharah, right? And the early EMPs, they were really aggressive. It was a great job on their side to stay aggressive and force them to try and play their game, and it isn't working for them.
Well, we're going to see the teams kind of transform probably back to that brawl composition that we were seeing a little bit on Night Market. King's Row is going to be our hybrid map for map 2 of this first to 4 series, and this one's a classic. I mean, you could pretty much see this one coming up a week in advance. You can always predict King's Row to end up in the map pool when it's a pick ban system, and I'm happy to see it. Hopefully these teams lock in on some Reinhardt and we get to see a nice main tank home game that reminds us all of Overwatch 1.
Absolutely. My favorite memories on King's Row is just running OG Ryan Zarya comps and just melting through people. Obviously, you can't do that with one tank, so we have to settle for just a Reinhardt or vice versa. Really excited to see how Rush deals, because Ambatakum has been killing it with the Rush comp so far. I can only imagine that it's right now it's going to be them. I can't really, based on that last map, I can't really see any other way. I mean, unless the Team Empyrean proves me wrong with some high value picks coming in, especially on the first point.
Imperium, they've definitely got it in them if they play their absolute best Overwatch to win this grand final, or else they wouldn't even be here in the first place. But in Ambatakum, they were just clicking on map 1, and mentally, if you're Empyrean, that can be a little bit scary, knowing that
Absolutely.
You've got to dial in, you've got to find something that works, because when you lose both control points 100 to 0, you're looking at the drawing board and you've already crossed out a lot of options. Somehow you've got to go back to one of those options and get it to click for your team, and that's always a difficult thing to do in esports.
Exactly. A lot of these games, it's easy to tell, so you just gotta, after a map like that, you just gotta take it back, recollect as a group, and just say what went wrong, and just figure it out from there. It mean they have the ability to do it. They've proven that on their road to the grand finals. It's just a matter of them getting all on the same page.
Hopefully they're able to do it here. It is going to be Empyrean defending first, and Ambatakum will be attacking first. So I like this from Ambatakum. I do believe that they get to pick their sides, and they say, look, we want to set the tempo of this game. We want to attack. We want to get 3 points with a ton of time on the clock and keep as much pressure on Empyrean as we can. I love that strategy.
Absolutely. And in showing off with the snipers on both sides. It looks like we have both the Hanzos really good at just getting the lucky arrow headshots. With them, and it looks like there's a Doom on Ambatakum, but that might change. I can only imagine. Don't see a lot of Doomfist personally in these games. Yep, there it is. But the Echo Hanzo should be really interesting. Oh, okay. Wow, I'm getting played here.
Getting played in the attacking locker room. Yeah, they throw on the Ryan May comp. I mean, that is basically like what Ryan Zarya used to be in Overwatch 1 on King's Row. You just play either Ryan or Ramatra coupled with a May on King's Row. Leading into this first fight, though, Maywall goes up, Mata trying to set a trap. Love Syrup, though, doesn't overextend. Plays his balance pretty well, at least for the time being. Still playing at around a quarter HP, and it's actually going to be, oh my god, falling first to the Fire Strike. Just absolutely scorched right there. Parkeisha finds another one, going crazy here outside the Alderworth Hotel, and pushing all the way to the bookstore. Look at Ambatakum go, rolling onto the objective, taking it first fight.
And the emo to just plant the flag on the field. What a great first point rush by Ambatakum, The Ryan May really sets the tone. The May wall was perfect. Really cut off a good portion of the team. Sock, on the other hand, was doing a great job on BAP on that high ground behind and perfectly protected from the other team. They couldn't stop his output of field. Really kept the whole team alive during that fight.
And now as we get to the bookstore corner here, Empyrean has some defendable positions. It's gonna be the Earth Shatter laid down from Syrup, but it's not enough to claim any kills. In fact, Syrup goes down for it, stunned on the other side of that bookstore wall, and now it's still Ambatakum pushing as hard as they can into these fights. Mata throws up a Maywall to give the team a little bit of breathing room, and you can see that Farkeisha backpedaled for a moment before charging forward and landing that pin onto Ermagad. Farkeisha's just going insane, and you know, it's kind of unfortunate that he has such a silly name because we're going to be saying it a lot.
Yeah. I like the idea of that shatter on the side of the team Empyrean. You know, get them off guard and try to pick up some kills, but the support just wasn't there on this on the back end of it, on the follow-up. The Ant Matrix on the side of Ambatakum really helped clean up and push that fight forward. And we're going to see what comes out of these follow-up ults from the main.
Well, the Blizzard was enough to claim the life of the Ambatakum Rhyme that's been doing so much work so far in this Kings Row game. Mata also falls to Jailbreak, but Jailbreak had to be traded out there as Sock steps forward into that kill. And here, tightly contested 3 versus 3 in the waning moments of the Streets phase of Kings Row. We're seeing Cookie trying to do absolutely everything in her power to muscle this way through, and it looks like they're going to be able to with 1 kill make it 2 as Syrup falls as well. Switching over to the Ramatra did not work, my friend. Zamnade goes as well. Cookies, what a highlight.
What a pop-off moment from Cookies. Not to mention the awesome sound barrier by Natalie to keep her alive, you know? It was looking bleak. That sound barrier definitely is what helped them over the edge in that fight to allow some sustainability as the rest of the team came back. Because if they lost that fight, that's one of the hardest points to retake, is the end of point 2 on King's Row.
Yeah, probably the most defendable position on King's Row outside of the first objective, which a lot of people wouldn't even consider that defendable. Shatter comes in here, sound barrier to counter, but Syrup still falls to the charge. Farkeisha stepping forward as much as they can, but a little bit out of their bounds as they're taken down by Ermagad. And now this one's evened up, but we do have Empyrean with a tank in the fray, and Ambatakum is tankless. Mata, though, able to land that Icicle onto Goku to take down one of the backline members of Empyrean. Jailbreak falling as well to Cookies, who has swapped to the Sojourn, continuing to pop off, by the way. And Ambatakum has not gone anywhere in this fight. Despite losing Farkeisha very early, they've rallied all the way back, and the payload is still in drive.
Yeah, they really need to find a way to kind of get this point under control. They have potential here, especially with that pulse bomb from, oh my god. It looks like they're holding off. That's a solid hold from them. Because now they can get the momentum back on their side, especially now with the Reinhardt back.
Yeah, and they survived a pretty tough Earth Shatter too from Farkeisha. Empyrean, it took some ults, but they did get their way right back in it, and although this defense may not last for long, the way Ambatakum is playing the Blizzard, softball tossed right into the backline, but everyone on Empyrean avoids it still. Their back is up against the wall. Ermagad gets caught out, a little bit overextended as the rest of the team retreated. Jailbreak falling as well. Cookies propped up to do a ton of damage through the window. The Ant Matrix providing all that Ambatakum needs to seal out 3 points of King's Row with over 3 minutes on the clock.
Huge time back on the side of Ambatakum. It's gonna be really tough for Team Empyrean to kind of match that, but on their side, that's probably what your goal is, to just at least get to the end of all 3 points. You know, really unfortunate. They were close. Empyrean was very close with Samurai to kind of try and contest that a little longer, trying to whittle down that 3-minute time bank, but they were just short of it. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, the Ant Matrix overclock would have probably melted through that sound barrier anyway. So it's kind of more like a wash in terms of stall. But we'll get to see how Imperium gets to answer back, because now it's their time to kind of say, we're here for a reason. We can definitely do this. Here's what we're made of. This is their chance to show it.
Yeah, and Nacho, in that first round of King's Row, we did see Empyrean actually win a couple of fights. I think we saw them win 2 or 3 fights. I know Ambatakum has a ton of time up on the clock, but that's still a step in the right direction for Empyrean. They didn't win a single fight on Lijiang Tower, so they have progressed in this game.
Yeah, and it's really just trying to get on the same page and kind of be collective as a team. It looks kind of like on Lijiang, it was a little all over the place, but now we're starting to see everything start to click, and we'll get to see a pharmacy start off the map.
And this is the second time they've broken out the pharmacy, so this is something that they would like to run. They know that Ambatakum doesn't love to play hit scans. They do like to have Mata, their flex DPS on Mei almost all the time if they're going to play Reinhardt. And then Cookies hasn't played a ton of hit scan to this point. Sojourn, if anything, has been the one hit scan they've played, and Jailbreak feels like they can deal some heavy damage from the skies on Pharah. Closing in now, their damage boosted up, but Syrup goes down. The pin connects from Farkeisha, that puts them straight into a wall, and damage coupled by Cookies is enough to demech Syrup. This one has to be a reset.
Absolutely. You're going to want to get out now and try to preserve as much time as you can, because any stagger here is really going to set you guys back and overall. So a quick regroup and then just dive back in. D.Va's a pretty fast hero to get there. Put that pressure on.
Coming into this next fight, as Empyrean is rallied and ready to get back into the fray, Jailbreak does have the barrage online. Oh my god, right now just poking and prodding in the Alderworth Hotel. The barrage comes through from about mid-height, and Cookies does fall to the burst damage, but Sock is able to lace the headshots into Jailbreak to take down the Empyrean damage dealer, and kills coupled one after another for Ambatakum. They've taken down Syrup, Goku, Zamnade, everyone wiped away for Empyrean in a fight that started good with the barrage. It was turned to dust.
It's really unfortunate. The barrage had a good potential to at least open up the map for them, but it looked like an Ant Matrix on the side of Sock really helped provide the return fire and healing to kind of keep about to come into that fight as much as well as they did. We do see a swap onto the ball here, which is really interesting. Try and get more disruptive, I guess.
I do like the Wrecking Ball a little bit better with the Pharmacy. I think dislodging them, making them turn their heads, that gets the eyes off of Jailbreak, enough for Jailbreak to maybe do some more damage, but there's no escaping that Blizzard. Mata actually does go down as God wins the duel there, but a free Earth Shatter with no shield in sight. Farkeisha has already claimed one. What a charge there onto Zamnade, and it's going to be Farkeisha once again being the showstopper here.
What a great match by Farkeisha, honestly. Like, all the shatters have been great. The heads-up plays on the pins and everything, just really good. Cookie swapped over to the Ashe, so I'm guessing they're not too keen on this Pharah doing more damage to them. Trying to lock it up here.
Yeah, and also the Ashe, like we can see in the kill feed now, pretty good pick to go up against a Widowmaker. Cookies actually takes both of the damage dealers for Empyrean down in a flash. Jailbreak does get rezzed back up into the action, and Jailbreak actually has Barrage online. Cookies tosses in a Dynamite that eliminates Zamnade. Jailbreak able to find one kill onto Mata as Empyrean. They're trying to buy purchase back into this fight. Oh my god, from Spawn, the Crow's Nest up top. Like Surefour himself, oh my god, finds 2 picks by way of the headshot, and there is still some light for Empyrean, but they've got to make this fight count.
Yeah, here comes the Ant Matrix to try and push them away, but looks like the Kitsune Raj is going to answer back.
I love that play right there. The Ant Matrix and the Fire Strike through the Ant Matrix. One hit Jailbreak, but still, Empyrean hasn't gone anywhere too fast. Oh my god is still popping off on Widowmaker for the time being. Needs a little bit of healing. The barrage comes in. That takes down Cookies. They want to find the kill onto Sock, but Sock is able to take down Jailbreak. Going in for a little bit of an off angle here. That's going to stop Farkeisha from getting healed by Sock, but Sock in a duel of their own, trying to win this fight, and Goku has gone down 3 seconds to get the touch. Oh my god gets a tap in, but how can you possibly live against Farkeisha in this close corridors? There's absolutely no way. They're only able to get one tick. Ambatakum once again with force winning map 2.
Yeah, and honestly, I feel like that was, I don't know. I'm trying to think of, in terms of matchups by role, I feel like in terms of tank, I think Farkeisha really outshined Love Syrup there. in a lot of different aspects, especially with this play right here with the shatter onto 2, gets the 2 kills, and then the follow-up pin onto the Mercy. Like, my jaw dropped during that pin because as a support, I felt that in my soul, getting the random pin on from a Reinhardt.
Yeah,
But-
Farkeisha, I mean, they're definitely bringing it. The highlight for them, even though it wasn't the play of the game, definitely the fire strike through the Amp Matrix onto Jailbreak as the Pharah. Just up in the skies, and Farkeisha just had all the confidence to send a fire strike their way and take him down. You can just tell that Farkeisha's playing with a level of confidence that I don't think anyone else in this lobby is, and it is showing. Farkeisha is shining.
Absolutely. From the lineups, I thought it was going to be more of a DPS show, but right now it's definitely the tank show. And Farkeisha knows it, and he's going crazy. I'm excited to see what the third map is going to be, but I think we're going to be heading over to a quick break.
Welcome back, one and all, alongside Nacho. I'm Alt Charge, and we are 2 maps through this first to 4 grand finals for the PC Masters Overwatch 2 division here for CGL. And right now, Ambatakum commanding a lead of 2-0. They've ran through Lijiang Tower and King's Row. But Nacho, we've seen some subs come through from Empyrean. You want to tell us a little bit about what's changing?
Yeah, so it just looks like it's not so much subs. It looks like Imperium is just moving around their roles. Oh no, there is some subs as well. I'm getting. So we have Hush coming in for Farquisha on the side of Ambatakum, and on the side of Team Imperium, it looks like we have some role changes. Love Syrup is moving over to DPS. Armagad is moving over to support, and Zamne is moving over to the tank. So I'm really curious to see how these role changes on Imperium really changes the flow, especially moving on to our payload map, which I believe is Junkertown.
Yep, it is going to be Junkertown, and unlike King's Row, there's not a lot of buildings to hide behind on Junkertown, especially not that first point. So this is going to be another map where we see these teams kind of transform their compositions, like we saw in King's Row. Everything was Reinhardt May-centric. Here on Junkertown, I'm expecting very little of that, maybe breaking out the snipers, go back to the Winston dive, that sort of thing. So maybe these role changes we saw from Empyrean are adjusting their team to play better in those new roles, playing those new heroes that aren't so much brawl-centric. We'll have to see. Maybe they're just doing it to have a little fun out there as this season maybe winds down for them, because Ambatakum, they've got a commanding lead, they've got Empyrean by the throat, and it doesn't seem like they're going to be letting go anytime soon.
Yeah, and I'm really curious because they have a completely new DPS lineup now on the side of Imperium. This first point on Junkertown is really sniper prominent, especially with those long open sights on both the initial opening and the cap point. And it's really more dives heavy. I've seen a lot of Winston on Junkertown, or Diva even, because they can really do a great job in commanding that space and contesting those high grounds to keep the snipers out of their backline.
We'll see if they can keep everyone in check here, as we do have Empyrean defending first. Ambatakum is going to be the attacking team first once again. And I don't want to talk too much about Ambatakum's comp, even though that is very realistic as to what they could roll out of spawn on, but they still have some time to make changes. Empyrean, though, they are running that double sniper. They've got the Zenyatta, they've got the Baptiste, so a little bit of a different look in the back line. It's a solid-looking Junkertown composition. Hopefully, they play this style of Overwatch at a level much more equal or better than Ambatakum than they were playing Brawl v Brawl, because Ambatakum just has the edge close quarters like that.
Yeah, and really interesting to see how they play around his Sig Shield as well, because it can really be placed anywhere, and it can really help give that extra cover, especially in these long-range sections.
Spawn doors open up. You see that Syrup was going for an opening angle there, maybe imagining Cookies or Mata popping up on that initial high ground from spawn, but right now, everything just kind of transpiring on the low ground. Hush, the fresh tank substitute for Ambatakum, pushing in, the Sigma specialist trying to close the distance here onto Zamnade, throws an accretion, but that one blocked easily by a shield. And here at the catwalk, this is where we always see the fight breathe a little bit for the first time, as we wait for the snipers to find that first pick.
Yeah, and really quiet. I'm surprised it wasn't an opening pick to start the mound, because usually you expect to see the Widow hook shots or something. But overall, kind of quiet. We'll see how it plays out. Looks like Imperium gets the first call.
I like it. Syrup and Jailbreak coming alive here. Oh my god, putting down Sock as well. So Empyrean starting very strong. They made a lot of changes to their lineup. They've thrown Syrup over to the Widowmaker, and I've actually seen this quite a bit in recent games that I've casted, where your tank player for some reason is just your Widow specialist. I don't know what it is, but like 3 games in a row this has been the case.
Yeah, really interesting. It really shows to how diverse each individual's player's move pool is outside of their specialized role.
Yeah, I mean, it could just be, what do you do while you wait for your long queue times? I play Widow headshots, but you're a Rhine player. I still just, that's what I do, man. 25 minutes straight, I'm just locking in Widow in my pregame lobbies. Little hook shot duel, no one gets the better of it. Syrup does get a nice little body shot in, but not enough to take down Cookies. And as that hook cooldown resets, a little bit of calm before the storm. Mata coming online with that Dragon Strike. Syrup has popped the Infer Sight, so everyone had to hide. Another hook shot attempt there from Cookies to no avail. And Ambatakum, they are creeping and crawling their way in. This payload is getting marched down slowly, but it's met time after time by an Empyrean answer. Not this time, though, as Sock and Natalie come alive for a pair of kills. Hungry for more, Syrup goes down to Hush in the front line, and this should finally be the first point taken by Ambatakum.
Yeah, and a great improvement on the side of Empyrean, because this is already a lot better than the plays that we saw on King's Row and Lijiang. However, it looked like both the Ant Matrix traded out, and as well as the Transcendence to keep the contest going a little bit. Not too sure about that one, but we'll see how it plays out in the next point. However, we have both Dragon Strikes, which is a great zoning ult to kind of get players to a certain side to collapse on or get some space. So I'm really interested to see how both teams opt to use that ult.
It's also one of those ults, too, that's kind of developed in its purpose, where originally in Overwatch 1 and, in Overwatch 2 where Zarya gets played, you think of Graviton Surge, Dragon Strike being a great combo, but Sigma with the Gravitic Flux, that is an ultimate that locks up your opponent, and it's a great time to pop a Dragon Strike and send it through for some guaranteed damage. Right there, it doesn't happen for Ambatakum, and here we actually see the Flux whiffed by Zamnade, so both tank ultimates getting zero value here in the first fight of the Streets phase, and we do actually have Empyrean coming out of spawn, setting up a nice hold on the back of Syrup's headshots.
Yeah, and now this is where Empyrean's snipers can really hold it down. They have really the best lookout, as they just Ambatakum just has no choice but to face those snipers on the opposing high ground. They can opt to go around the long way here, but it's gonna, especially with the Dragon Strike, it's gonna be really tough to test.
Oh, and they do send it straight through that very tight corridor. Natalie popping the Transcendence to keep Ambatakum alive as they try to push up this staircase. Not easy, though. Jailbreak sends in a Storm Arrow, ricocheting around in the hallway, does a ton of damage to Hush, and Zamnade is able to capitalize on that, finding the elimination. And Ambatakum, once again, 0 for 2 in their first two fights, trying to push this new objective, but they've still got a couple minutes on the clock and some ults online that they could use.
Absolutely. Overall, I can't say enough how much of an improvement Empyrean's showing on Junkertown. It looks like they had enough after that King's Row. But Ant Matrix and Dragon Strike on the side of Ambatakum, it's going to be a lot of damage. It's going to be tough to see how they contest this. But they do have Transcendence, so it's very possible that Empyrean holds out through these ults.
Yeah, Transcendence getting popped here to counteract the Dragon Strike that Mata throws out onto the high ground, so everyone on Empyrean alive and well for the time being, and they still haven't burned Goku's Immortality Field, but Jailbreak sent back to spawn, back to Lumbridge with you, my friend, as Sock is able to pop up and burst him down. Cookies with the Venom Mine taking down God, and now it's Empyrean having to rely on Syrup to pop off, only finding one kill onto Hush, but maybe coming back out of spawn, Empyrean has a tank advantage. There is a chance at a strong recontest.
Yeah, and it's gonna be a little tough because it looks like there was no chance at all. Really interesting to see how this third point plays out. Snipers usually aren't the go-to from this point. I can see that Empyrean is switching to a Genji Winston dive. So I'm curious to see how Ambatakum changes their comp after this first initial push, if they change it at all.
Yeah, Empyrean going right over to that dive, which is way more common here on third point of Junkertown. Ambatakum probably going to pop what ultimates they have. It's really only Cookies with the Infrasight, but if they can roll through this next fight with the sniper comp, we could see them stick on it. Although, I do expect Empyrean to just be ready with this dive, to focus down Cookies or Mata, maybe Natalie, just somewhere in the backline, just engage quickly onto a target. They're going to need a Discord though, and right now they don't have it as Cookies is able to take down and Jailbreak Storm Arrowing the front line as Zamnade pounces on it, but Zamnade gets bursted down by Mata. Nothing doing there as Empyrean has to reset this new comp that they've tried. not working nearly as well as that sniper comp they let off with.
Yeah, and now we have a Dragon Strike where they could just pick a spawn door and just let it rip. I mean, not much you can do, just trying to deny that entranceway as they try to march this point down to get that, hopefully at least a 30-second time bank.
Dragon Strike coming out here for Empyrean. Syrup goes down to an arrow out of the quiver. Mata lacing that one right into the cranium of Syrup. Finding another one on Goku. Set up well on the high ground here is Sock and Cookies. Cookies now popping down to the low ground, trying to finish off this fight, going right side for the closing angle, but they're not even going to need it. This one is already wrapped up. Ambatakum taking 3 points of Junkertown with still some time remaining.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to get time on the clock. Really, now it just forces that Empyrean to at least get there with some time as well, hopefully more. I'm expecting this to be a little bit better on the side of Empyrean's offense, based on how well their defense has been played so far. They won multiple team fights, especially on that second point. Third point got a little rough, a little sketchy there with the Genji, but you know, it happens. You try to adapt quickly, and sometimes it doesn't always pan out. But I'm really curious to see how they take these snipers into their attack. Whole chart.
Yeah, I mean, we saw what Syrup could do, and it's so interesting how your tank specialist is also your Widowmaker specialist, and Syrup did so well on points 1 and 2 that they were almost carrying Empyrean through those first two defenses on the objectives. If they can do that here on the attack, I mean, the defense did pretty good. 33 seconds is time on the clock, but it's not much for Ambatakum. This is actually the best we've seen Empyrean play so far, so there's still a chance that they hop right back in the series. They made a ton of changes to their roster, and so far they're paying off.
Absolutely. It looks like that break is what they needed to kind of sit down and say, what's not working, what we need to do to fix it. And it looks as though it's paying off right now. We'll get to see the opening snipe, possibly. Ooh.
Oh, Cookies! As we all
ready.
hold our breath and wait for it, Cookies answers. She picks up a nice kill there, goes for a second hook shot, nearly finding a shot there onto Jailbreak, just missing to his left. And now, a little bit of time here for the defense to set up. They backpedal all the way back into this open space.
Yeah, great first pick. Even, unfortunately, it's on defense, so they have quicker time get back into the action. So they don't have much of an option but to back up here and get that space for this later turn as the payload rounds the corner. But really good head start on at least the infra site.
Oh, and right now, oh my god, stuck in a very crafty angle, now having to duel Mata, one of the best DPS in this Masters division. Luckily, oh my god, gets out with his life intact, but that was just by the skin of his teeth right there as this fight still transpiring. Oh my god, once again getting aggressive with these angles, actually takes it to Mata. Syrup does go down, but Zamnade finds the kill onto the opposing tank Hush. And Empyrean looking in great position here to take point number 1, and 2.5 minutes still on the clock. Empyrean, how well have they played Junkertown to this point, Nacho?
They've been playing it almost flawlessly, in my opinion. I don't think this doesn't feel like it's the same team we've watched the past 2 maps, honestly. It's like night and day. But it's really good to see. I mean, Ambatakum struggled on this point, so if Empyrean can really turn it around and get this point fast, they might be have a very commanding time bank. But we'll get to see. Looks like we have a flux coming up on both ends. Really interesting to see how that ult plays out for both teams, as they kind of missed the mark last time.
Yeah, the gravitic fluxes were pretty much cosmetic items where they really had no effect in the game, but they were definitely something visual that we all had to witness. Zamnade popping the flux first here, and that's enough to pick up Hush. Immortality Field there to counter that and keep Hush alive and well. And now Hush very close to that flux of his own. Cookies popping the infra site. Hush ready to let this one rip as Zamnade caught in this staircase. That could be a dire spot to be stuck in, and actually having used the accretion, there's no stun to answer this flux from Hush, and he's slammed down, put into the dirt, trying to finish this elimination, but Hush chasing it now with 50 HP. He's gonna pay for it. It is going to be countered though by Cookies and Mata, picking up those key kills at a key moment, and that's gonna be enough for the Ambatakum defense to remain on this high ground.
Really good job on the side of Ambatakum in terms of stabilizing, but also a really good push on the side of Empyrean. They got pretty far, and it's not going to take something a little bit to crack, but it's going to be an overall. It should be a really good fight, and I mean, it's really just one team fight away from capping this point.
Yeah, and, you know, of course Empyrean, they do lose Syrup right there, so you've got to have a little bit of a soft reset here. Zamnade, too far in the fight, goes down to the headshot early. Honestly, no harm done here. There's still a ton of time on the clock. It doesn't even matter if Ambatakum take this fight in a pretty flashy fashion. Cookies, by the way, going off, making a highlight in a fight that was wiped long ago, but Cookies, nice little hook shot there, headshot onto Syrup in the double jump animation. That's a nice Widow play. Cookies has been on it. Very quietly, an incredibly impactful player for this Ambatakum team to this point. Goes down, Caster's Curse happens.
No, yeah, she's been popping off on the sniper this map. Even in the map on King's Row, she was doing really well as well. But looks like we have a Dragon Strike coming in early, as well as a couple of headshots. Forces to Tranquility.
Mata! Oh my goodness! The headshot onto Goku was one thing, but then the flick onto Syrup across the objective, that was great stuff. Mata holding it down right now for Ambatakum. Does drop there to Oh My God, but might have done just enough as Hush is able to find that kill. And we do have the Transcendence popped by Natalie. That fight is dusted. Very good stuff there by Mata.
Yeah, I couldn't quite tell if that Transcendence was needed at the end there. I mean, it looked like that fight was pretty well done, but maybe they just didn't have that heal enough to keep Hush alive there. Looks like we do have a composition change on the side of Empyrean. They have a Wrecking Ball and a Tracer. Looks like they're getting a little tired of these snipers running free up top here.
Yeah, and we have seen them change their comp once before. Double Snipers was working best for them on Junkertown, so I'm a little eerie of Jailbreak playing the Tracer here because the way Mata's playing, Hanzo is a Tracer counter, and Mata is looking lethal so far.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just one headshot away from just erasing a Tracer. But we do have, as I say that, wow, Cass's Curse is strong tonight, huh?
Yeah, it's getting us real good, actually. Man, Mata and Cookies, though, Ambatakum, it took them a little bit to get cooking. They were really used to that brawl composition where they were playing Mei Reinhardt in tight on every team fight, but now it seems like they're used to these snipers. Mata and Cookies are just going crazy. They've controlled this game for the last 3 minutes.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem like their Empyrean was able to crack this. It looks like they got caught off guard on the pop-offs on the side of Cookies and Mata, respectively. Each of their own separate moments. And Ambatakum has a Flux coming in as well. It feels like this might be the end of the map here, because the Flux can just keep them off the point and call the game.
Yeah, Ambatakum definitely has the resources to close this one out. They even have the Dragon Strike to couple with the Flux if they choose to, but Syrup goes down early to Sock, the Flux thrown in here, and that's going to be enough to purchase a few more kills as Goku goes down in the Mega Health Pack room. Once again, Zamnade falling, and in the waning moments of Junkertown, no one is there to contest, and Ambatakum are on Grand Final Championship point going into Map 4.
Yeah, and honestly though, if you're Team Empyrean, I wouldn't be too upset about this because honestly, that was a lot closer than the past two maps. They were able to hold Ambatakum down to 30 seconds on that on their attack, and for a while there it looked like they were going to steamroll through point 2. Honestly, I would take that as a small win, personal win on the side of Empyrean internally.
Yeah, and heading into Map 4, I mean, they made a ton of changes in their roster, and even though they didn't work to the point of winning the round, they definitely worked. Syrup looked excellent on a Widowmaker and really carried them through a few fights. Empyrean was right in this game on Junkertown, pretty much down to the wire. Second point didn't go their way. They had to ditch the sniper comp, and it didn't get them anything in return. I think if they just stayed on snipers, that may have been their best chance to stay competitive in that game. But we're going to jump to a very quick break here before we head into map 4. Ambatakum could take the championship right here, or Empyrean could start something special. And we are back. We are on a finals point for Ambatakum as they hold a 3-0 lead in this first of 4 series over Empyrean. Alongside Nacho, I'm Alt Charge. So far, Ambatakum, they have ran away with this one, but Junkertown looked a lot closer. Nacho, how do you think that happened?
Personally, I just feel like, one, the lineup change on the side of Empyrean really helped out. But I mentioned on the end of King's Row that the tank difference was a little too strong on the side of Ambatakum. So I feel like the tank change on the side of Empyrean with Lovesir swapping to DPS and Zamagad going over to tank, I feel like that helped a lot. Really opened up the team pool as well, the hero pool, as we saw a lot really predominant double snipers on the side of Empyrean, especially on a map of Junkertown. That can really set the tone, especially a good sniper duel. So that's probably where I think really picked up in terms of the side of Empyrean getting back into this.
Syrup was definitely looking excellent on DPS and definitely gave Empyrean some life in this game. I feel like if you're Empyrean right now, you don't feel like you're completely out of the series just yet. You just played your best Overwatch on Junkertown. Now we're going to push. Esperanza is our battleground for map 4, and this is going to dial back a little bit from snipers. Like Junkertown is just snipers through point 1 and 2 all the time. Esperanza, it's a little more condensed. We could see some shorter range poke comps. We could see some dive. Could go back to that brawl. Really, the door is wide open. So I'm wondering what these teams are going to play. If I was Ambatakum, I would go back to that brawl and try and make Empyrean beat you on your best comp.
Absolutely. If you're Empyrean, that's the last thing you really wanted to see. I don't think you want to go into a match point where you're forced to play the other team's game. I would like to see them probably going more towards a poke. They've been trying to do poke, and it's had some signs of working, but they just didn't have the cohesion to kind of pick it up. So hopefully we get to see a good poke comp where really gets their progress going. The really big goal here is to get that first checkpoint on push, where you get those forward spawns and it can really start to steamroll there and snowball. But it looks like we have like a rush comp on both sides on the side of Empyrean with a D.Va on Ambatakum.
Yeah, Ambatakum playing this, I would call this more of a poke comp. D.Va compositions in Overwatch 2, since she doesn't have the most resources, they set up fights really, really slow, and you're just kind of poking and prodding around the outskirts of a fight, trying to chisel your way into the action and make the most of that short defensive matrix. So Ambatakum, I would call this a poke comp with the Ana Brig backline, and then Empyrean, they're running that like scramble rush comp that has 2 speed boosts. Zamnade and God both can amp it up and give their team a ton of resources from the backline and just change positioning on a dime. We'll see what their first target is to try and focus down, because usually this Ambatakum composition is only going to extend their D.Va, and right now Hush nearly pays for that extension with his life, and actually eventually does get desuited here up in the front line, taken down by that knife thrown out by Zamnade, and this is where Empyrean can just go full throttle forward, use both of those speed boosts, and clean up as fast as they possibly can. But nice damage output from Ambatakum is keeping them at bay for the time being.
Yeah, absolutely. The Soldier 76 really is good at providing that consistent damage, especially the burst with that Helix socket, as we saw taking down Armagad on the Lucio. And it's just, in terms of this poke comp, it's really just a side of like, you just gotta keep it going. You just gotta keep that steady push going, tickle them down on both sides, and just let them rip. The healing on the side of Ambatakum is going to be really key here, especially with that Ana, really keeping that D.Va in her mech, trying to keep the pressure going.
Yeah, and although Ana might be the primary target of focus for Empyrean, they're going to be babysat. Hush is going to peel very well for Sock, and Natalie is just going to be Sock's babysitter this entire time. Right now we do have Mata throwing that translocator far in the back line to stay safe, ready with the EMP to let it rip, but Cookie's up in the front line. The Nano, the Visor, way too much for Empyrean to overcome, and the bot continues to march toward checkpoint number 1.
Yeah, and it looked like they did used the twerp ult there. I don't know if it picked up a kill. I think it may have. Not too 100% sure. If anything, kind of kept them away from pushing this point forward a little bit. But they did swap over to the Hanzo. I'm probably expecting, based on the past couple maps, and a very aggressive EMP, probably getting at least 2, and it does.
Nice EMP there let loose, and Sock is able to claim a kill onto Ermagada off the back of it. The bot just a meter away from that first checkpoint, and it does unlock. So Ambatakum does get the advanced spawns here. Jailbreak answers with a nice little pulse bomb stick onto Sock. It's going to be a little too late in the fight to actually win it for Empyrean, but maybe it's going to set them up well as long as they can engage next very quickly.
Yeah, and it looks like they're swapping Empyrean on... Just in general, they have now a Ramatra and a Cassidy. Unless it was going over to the Soldier 76. Really curious to see how this plays out for them. Looking like they're trying to go for more sustainable damage and more of a pokey type, or more of a rush, it looks like. Changed my mind. But
man, I mean, Zamnade was just going in right there. I thought it was going to be poke too with those DPS, but Zamnade got that speed boost, went into Nemesis form, and just closed in onto this high ground. Zamnade is looking so menacing right now, but does actually die. Couldn't get any kills despite rushing right onto those squishy targets for Ambatakum up on that high ground. Natalie and Sock kept everyone supported so well through that fight.
absolutely. They did throw out the sound barrier to kind of keep Zamgad alive, but it just wasn't enough, you know? It's unfortunate. But now they did also pick up some two nice kills, especially one with the whip shot. But it's looking a little tough on the side of Empyrean here.
Yeah, Hush had to actually get right into the fray there to do some heavy peeling for Sock, who was up on that high ground, luckily able to bail them out in time. Syrup in some trouble here, pops the visor, but does go down. Hush and Cookies claiming kills up in the feed for Ambatakum as the bot getting awfully close to the final part here on Esperanza. We are just meters away from Ambatakum potentially being a champion.
Yeah, and like I said at the beginning of the map, once you get those closer spawns, it kind of just turns into a potential snowball. Annihilation has a potential to kind of push them away, kind of helpfully stabilize. They have a potential Ant Matrix as well, but the EMP is just gonna really hurt there.
This could be it right here. Zamnade goes down the back line, nowhere to be found. And at the climax of the CGL season, it is Ambatakum who are your PC Masters Division champions with just one more kill to claim. Syrup drops, and that is a wrap. 4-0 fashion, they beat Team Empyrean.
Wow. Honestly, really impressive. I was expecting this push to be a lot more back and forth. Not too sure what happened on the side of Empyrean. It looks like they had a good chance there at the beginning of that map, but kind of just crumbled. I'm not too sure exactly what areas kind of fell apart. Though Ambatakum kept it really consistent, really good job on their end. Overall, if you had to pick a player, who would you highlight, Old Charge?
I mean, it's a tough pick. For Ambatakum, everyone was doing so well, and if Arkisha didn't come out of the game, I would have given my MVP to them. So instead, I'm probably going to have to give it to Mata, just because if you play the Mei and you play the Sombra, those are two very key DPS in the current meta in Overwatch. They just transform your team, and Mata played them so well. And on the Hanzo a little bit there on Junkertown, had some highlights. So for me, it's Mata. What about you, Nacho?
I'm gonna have to agree. I feel like Mata definitely was a big one, as well as I would also say Cookies. She did a really good job holding it down. Really good big pop-off moments, as we saw with the Widow on Junkertown specifically. That's who I would pick. Honestly, I think the DPS did a great job on the side of Ambatakum to hold it down, get this win.
Yeah, fantastic job. I mean, they were the favorites going into this game. They lost their week 1 matchup against their opponent Empyrean, but they got their revenge on the biggest stage here for the PC Masters division of the Console Gaming League. We're going to be jumping into a very short break, but when we come back, we're going to have an interview with a member from Ambatakum. You're not going to want to miss it. Stick around. All right, we are back. It is Nacho alongside myself, Allcharge, and we are joined by Mata, a member of Ambatakum, the champions of our PC Masters division here for the Console Gaming League. Mata, how you doing?
Doing great. How are you guys doing?
Fantastic. Just got to see you guys run through Empyrean in 4-0 fashion for the Grand Finals, and you were my MVP choice. You played 3 different heroes very well, Mei, Sombra, Hanzo. But I wanted to ask you really quick to start here. You guys lost to Empyrean week 1 of the season, so clearly your team went through some drastic shift where you guys suddenly became champion caliber. When do you think that happened, and what do you think it was?
All right, so pretty much our first stage, we kind of were just playing for fun with a group of friends, and then after that, after stage 1, we didn't really have a good stage 1, but Cookies came in and she was like, hey, I want to actually just, revamp the team, play to win, just go for the championship. I'm like, yeah, we could do that. We picked up a new support line, we changed our DPS up, and we had a proper rotation for our tank line going now, and I think we only dropped 1 map ever since that. And the map we dropped was with a substitute, not even our starting.
Yeah, since stage 2, you guys only did drop 1 map, so clearly a massive shift happens. Good to know that you just called out Cookies in the backline as a big part of it, so shout outs to them. Cookies had an excellent Junkertown on Widowmaker especially. Nacho, gotta toss it over to you for a couple questions for our boy Mata here.
Absolutely. So I want to talk about the change, like that King's Row map. Clearly, it was a really strong performance on you guys' end. Forquisha did a great job on that Reinhardt. What are your thoughts on that map, and how do you think overall as a team, what were the comms like? How'd it go?
Yeah, so when they picked Junkertown, we already knew we won the map. It's one of our best maps, and we're a really very, very good Reinhardt team. Definitely our comfort pick, and Forquisha easily the best main tank in our tier. So right when it was Junkertown, I mean, King's Row, we knew that we could just play Rhine. They really wouldn't be able to do anything about it. We knew we were better, and we just played tempo. Everyone on our team had really good clutch potential, so we knew right from the beginning we had that.
Absolutely. You was quite the tank difference, it looked like, on that map. Now with the Junkertown, I do want to point, it did look like Imperium had the chance there to kind of turn it around, especially holding you guys to about a 30-second time bank after your initial push. How is it like trying to get back into it and kind of shut them down at point 2? Bring me through that.
Yeah, so once we finished our first attack, when we did notice they were playing a lot better. Definitely isn't our most comfort comp, as I don't really play Hanzo, and we didn't really have much practice with that map coming in. So on second point, Natalie, she's a really good shot caller for us. Started telling us where to rotate when to peak. We played around her cause, and just overall played a lot better. Played off of each other's contact, and we just managed to hold that second there.
Absolutely, it did look like the team cohesion was pretty on par there. Old Charge, I'll toss it back over to you. You have anything else here?
Just one last thing to round out this interview, and then I'll let you go celebrate with the rest of Ambatakum. You mentioned just before you hopped into this interview that you were a member of Flying Gorillas, the Tier 5 champion for CGL on the console side of things. Tier 5, the highest tier, pretty much. Like, that's creme de la creme of console Overwatch. And then you come into the Masters PC division, and you're a champion here as well. What's it like being a champion on 2 different platforms, console and PC, and what differences do you see between the 2?
Yeah, it definitely feels really good. One of the first people on CGL to win console and then PC. Half our team also won console besides Sock and Hero, Forquisha. Happy to give them their first ring, But yeah, it just feels really good. I think the biggest difference for sure was tempo. I think PC teams play a lot quicker than console teams, and this was definitely wasn't as hard as a console tournament, as these guys weren't as good, but I think it was just a really fun run, really good gameplay from everyone on our team.
Yeah, it was definitely clean. I mean, going from Tier 5 or Tier 6, wherever you're playing or scrimming at in console, and then coming down to PC Masters. Masters is still high ranked, but you're in T5, T6 scrims or games, that's, in like Overwatch 1 terms, that's like 4,300. So it is a little bit stepped down in pace, but you saying that the PC team still play faster, that's a pretty good sign that even though the rank may get lower, the gameplay still kind of speeds up a little bit. So that's good insight for people who might be thinking about switching from console to PC or vice versa. So Thanks for that answer. Gonna let you go and celebrate with the rest of the squad with Ambatakum there. So
Yeah.
congratulations once again on being a CGL champion.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you guys.
Thanks.
Welcome.
Congrats.
All right, Nacho, it is now you and I to close this one out. Final thoughts on this championship game. How do you feel about it?
Not the outcome I was expecting. I was expecting it to be a little more closer in terms of score. I wasn't expecting a 4-0. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I was expecting maybe a 4-1, a 4-2, maybe even a 4-3. I was hoping for the reverse sweep. You kind of set it up there. Didn't happen. But honestly, I think it was some really good gameplay on both ends. More towards the end, Empyrean got their stuff together, but overall, pretty solid. Some solid overall Overwatch, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it. Empyrean, they did kind of come alive after King's Row. Syrup, especially on DPS, really started to make a difference for Empyrean. My God, on Zenyatta, on Junkertown as well, started to become a playmaker, which is what we needed to see a little bit earlier in the series to make it more competitive. But Ambatakum, they grinded. They deserved this 4-0. Like Mata was saying, Fartkisha on the Reinhardt is unmatched, so we knew that Empyrean had to pick around that, and they still didn't quite have an answer to Hush and the snipers that Ambatakum were playing. So Ambatakum, they were just ready to be champions today. Congratulations to them. That is all for Nacho and myself, AltCharge. Thank you to our producer, Headrammer, and our observer, KhazixMayJump. It's been a fantastic championship stream. We'll see you next season.